Jessica Long last updated 0500, October 7, 2017. Finance Minister Roger Douglas and Prime Minister David Lang in a rare show of unity after Labour is re-elected on August 15, 1987. That led to a radical change in New Zealanders' lives during the fourth Labour government's 198,487 term. Jessica Long reports. A snap election in July 1984, fueled by the country's immense overseas debt, led to the advent of the fourth New Zealand Labour government, and its focus was money. Everyone's lives changed in the next 3 years. Some people prospered, but others suffered as unemployment rose and the state sector shrank. Then came the triple whammy of the stock market crash in 1987. Wellington MPs Peter Dunn, John Terrace and Dr. Gerard Wall meet with Roger Douglas, Minister of Finance, and Mike Moore, Minister of Tourism, on September 10, 1985. It was an era of radical social and economic changes within the country, with Prime Minister David Lang at the helm. His government inherited a high budget deficit, an overvalued dollar and rocketing inflation. But Lang's appointment of Roger Douglas as Minister of Finance promised to set the economy straight when he implemented new right reforms. Douglas said New Zealand would be put on a high-growth path, and for a while, the country seemed to reinvent itself as a free-market economy. Minister of Finance Roger Douglas stands on the steps of Parliament, holding a locked briefcase containing a master copy of the budget in 1984. He brought in policies on deregulation, privatization, state asset sales, tariffs, and price controls. The new government's reforms dismantled the centrally organized welfare system and removed farming subsidies. But the changes caused an onset of purchase panic, and newspapers splashed the phrase Rogernomics. It stuck. Former Finance Minister Sir Roger Douglas, Reserve Bank Governor Don Brash, Centre, and Saints basketballer Angelo Hill play Monopoly at the Reserve Bank to raise funds for Barnardo's family support on the October 18, 1995. Read more. Editorial. 30 years after the revolution, the reluctant Prime Minister Lover blamed for Lang's downfall. On October 1, 1986, Douglas introduced the Goods and Services Tax Act (GST). This added 10% to the cost of most goods and services. In the lead-up to the imposition of GST, cartoonists targeted the tax as a regressive move that would hurt the poor. James Lynch depicted Douglas as Little Red Riding Hood setting out to meet the unions, represented by the Big Bad Wolf, carrying his basket of GST, and so Little Roger Riding Hood set out through the forest to take the goods and services to Parliament House. The script sat above Lang, as Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother. GST was proving a difficult sell to the unions in particular, Lynch said a year before it arrived. Another cartoonist teased the tax as a bottled economical cure, a miracle money saver sold from a sideshow cart. The masses responded, as thick as fast as the looming changes, and in September 1986 consumer purchase power increased by an unprecedented $508 million in the retail sector, or 22.9%. In the first month GST was imposed, there was a 27.6% fall that saw the economy take a $752 million hit. Excluding GST, sales were low through November but increased slightly, by 0.6%, before a $244 million recovery in December. While the Christmas figures were similar to sales in August, it would be the beginning of ongoing financial issues for the government that undermined its stability. The average person steered away from purchasing high-end and durable goods, which meant purchases on items with longer lifespans quickly dropped. The furniture industry was significantly affected alongside department stores and retailers that sold household appliances and hardware. By the March 1987 quarter, however, retail purchase volumes had returned to more normal levels. As the retail sector took some hits, people turned to selling and buying property in the hope of benefiting from capital gains. New Zealanders also turned their attention to shares, which caused a financial boom. What went up just as quickly came crashing down when stock markets around the world came crashing down, starting on October 19, 1987. New Zealand's share market fell 60% from its 1987 peak. Some investors suffered severe losses in the collapse and divisions formed within the government. Lang fired Douglas in 1988 and resigned as leader the next year. For people who don't want the government in their lives, this Rogernomics has been a bonanza, Lang said in 1996. For people who are disabled, limited, resourceless, uneducated, it has been a tragedy. Stuff.